Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio, and thank you for joining me. Today, we're going to talk about, I got a great B2B question. It falls into the service aspect of selling. It's about selling financing and services, mostly financing services. Now, the question comes from, I think I'll get the name right, Matus Vitko. Man, that's like a sound, a name of a movie star. Hi, I'm Matus Vitko. Love that. Anyway, Matus Vitko says, "Hi, Victor. I'm a big fan of yours." Thank you, Matus. He says, "Got a strong sales question. Let's see. I've joined sales a few months ago, working in an IT company, in parentheses, IBM Global Financing." Ooh, he's running with the big dogs. "And providing financing for IBM products as well as other manufacturers. Actually," he says, "the IT from outside of IBM is financing most of the time. I am working on the floor with sellers that are selling the IBM products. They are not willing to offer financing to their clients as the financing cost to the seller is 3% of the total contract value they sell. How should I persuade them to offer it, being our financial services, even when they will actually lose 3% of the total contract value?" Ooh, that's a tough one, Matus, because what you're asking is these salespeople is to basically take a 3% hit. And so if it's a big contract, for example, if it's a $100,000 contract, run the numbers. That's $3,000. If it's a $1 million contract, run the numbers. That's pretty big. So you're asking them to take a 3% hit. You go on to say, "Thank you very much, Victor. This info can be a game changer for me. If it is a game changer, you need to send me a commission check, Matus. Just want to let you know that up front." He says, "P.S. To complete the picture, I would like them to come to me with an offer to the client that I can finance. Let me know in case there are any questions on the idea. Thank you." So in other words, not only do you want them to take a 3% hit, you want them to come to you with the deals. You're so demanding, Matus. So the question is, how do you do that? So it's a great question. Joking aside, it really is a great question. I chose this one because there's a lot of subtle things in here that I think will benefit anybody, whether you're B2B or B2C, if you're listening in. So again, let's capture the problem. Financing. He's selling financing. Salespeople are out there selling deals, right? They want the customer to buy it or finance it, right? Now, the seller knows that if they finance the deal, they're going to lose 3% of the total contract value. So they're not wanting to do that. They don't want to go the financing route. So they're going to try to get, maybe a letter of credit or maybe a different type of payment system, whatever it may be. The seller wants the deal done without having to go through financing, right? So the question is, how does Matus convince a salesperson to, one, give up 3% and in fact get so motivated on financing that they come to them for the deal? They come to Matus for the deal. That's a big ask right there. So here's the deal, Matus. The salesperson obviously is going to refuse to want to do this because they're going to take a hit on 3%. So that's the pain, right? They want the full amount of their commission. So they don't want to give up 3% because it could be a lot of money. Or as you say, 3% of the contract. So either way, it's a lose for them, right? So that's the big thing you have to understand. And I know you get this already. It's a big loss for them. So then let's see how we can work this out. How do we get them to want to do financing? And then how do we get them to come to us? Matus, you come to the right guy because I've been in this situation. I've dealt with these situations. And here's a strategy I'm going to lay out for you. Then you tell me how it works for you. Here's what I want you to do. When you're talking to these salespeople, find out what their loss ratio is, their win and loss ratio. How many deals do they close? How many deals do they lose? In other words, what's their close rate? So let's say, for example, Matus, that they win 40% of their deals, but lose 60%. Now, I'm not just throwing those numbers out there. When you look at a cross-section of different markets, that's pretty much an average. Salespeople will win 40% of their deals, lose 60% of their deals. Now, when they looked at that 60%, here's the key part, Matus. When they looked at that 60% loss, 10 to 20% of those losses came because of price and financing. This is key. 10 to 20% of that 60% were lost due to pricing and financing, and you can almost tie those two together. So that means that these salespeople are actually losing deals, right? So that's what we need to focus on. What if offering them, here's the key question, what if offering them financing would increase their close rates on deals they would have already lost. See, that's the strategy, Matus. Don't focus on trying to get them to come to you and take the 3% hit. Say, look, you're losing money. People who are not making a decision, the people who don't make a decision, let me think about it, we'll move it into next quarter, we'll do it next year. These are the people who are not making a buying decision. And in 10 to 20% of the cases, it's because it's pricing or financing. In other words, maybe it's too expensive, we can work that out. But maybe they don't have cash on hand, so they have to work out some type of payment terms, right? Instead of net 30, maybe they want net 60 or net 90, whatever the case may be. That's what you want to talk to the salesperson about. Say, look, you're leaving 10 to 20% of the deals on the table. Now, if we can recoup some of that 10 to 20% deals that you lost, would you be willing to give 3%? And guess what they would say, Matus? Absolutely. 3% loss is better than nothing, right? So that should be your focus. Focusing in on the deals that didn't go through. Those are the ones that you want to talk to the salesperson about. Don't talk to them about the deals they're winning because they're not interested in giving you 3%. But they're interested in giving you 3% if you can help them close deals that they could not close. So again, that's one way of looking at it. Okay, clients who finance today also, here's part of your pitch. Clients who finance today, you can tell them also, well, maybe tomorrow buy direct from you. So in other words, if a company comes and let's say that they don't have the money right now, cash on hand, and they want payment terms, talk to the salesperson about, say, look, short term, they might want to do a financing deal, but long term, they might go directly to you and pay you directly with a purchase order. So another reason you should want to work with me is because again, short-term gain, long-term win, right? In other words, by working with customers today on short-term financing, salesperson, you can actually win some more deals tomorrow. This will get you the foot in the door. Let me help you get the foot in the door by providing financing. That's strategy number 2. Lastly, when you work with salespeople, here's what I want you to do, Matus. Also, create a profile of the people who will need the financing. This is called identifying and finding your zebra. Or if you're from down under, your zebra, right? But you have to identify and find your zebra. What do I mean by that? A zebra is an ideal client. That client has particular stripes, right? Specific stripes and a way that they do business. So for example, a company that has annual revenues of less than 10 million will pass on bids that are bigger than $1 million. Let me say that again because I want you to get this. One client profile might be, one zebra profile might be that there are companies out there that are generating less than $10 million, and any deal that's $1 million and over, they're not going to do because they want to finance it. They don't have a cash on hand. So that might be a profile. Again, what I want you to do is to focus on companies that maybe have annual revenues of less than 10 million. And maybe you can start putting together a profile of the type of companies that need financing. Then you sit down with the salesperson and says, look, I found, again, based on conversations with the salesperson, we found that these types of companies, revenues of less than 10 million, so forth and so on, typically want financing. So if you have that type of client, can you please bring them to me? That's what you say, Matus. So here are the key points. 1, turn the negative into a positive by letting the salesperson know that they're losing the 10 to 20% worth of business, right? That's what you want to focus in on. And again, if they're losing 10 to 20% of business because decisions are not being made, they'll give up that 3%. Takeaway number 2, profile the type of client or deal that is most likely to want to use financing as a tool. Another example, companies that make less than 10 million, less than 3 years in business, and only have 10 employees or less might be the sweet spot, might be the ideal zebra. So again, number 3, by profiling, identifying what type of customers will need financing, salespeople know what deals they need to bring to you, Matus. So again, be very aggressive in letting them know if they don't do financing, they're going to lose some deals. Coming to you to help them finance will help them increase their sales. That's how I will do it, Matus. That's it for the Sales Influence Podcast. I hope that was helpful. Don't forget to leave me some feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Let me know what you think. I greatly appreciate it. Also, check out my new online sales training program, the Sales Mastery Academy. We're having a great month. Many of you are signing up. I really do appreciate you. See the value of training. Over 24 courses, 300 plus videos, 12 books, and again, a bunch of bonus stuff on sales and motivation. So again, either you increase your gain or you're going to increase some pain when you're not closing deals. And again, I've priced the platform so anybody can afford it. Just go to salesmasteryacademy.us, salesmasteryacademy.us. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, Let's wait for the drop. Here it comes. My favorite part. Selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care. Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.